Greetings, beings. Reverend Jacob Martinez here, Crystal Haiku Guy from artoflove.me and your father of tribes. I'm back with your mid-monthly September readings. And happy birthday to all Virgos who are yet to have birthdays, and any Libras who are upcoming too for the second half of the month. Happy birthday to all y'all. Hope your solar return is excellent. So, quick notes. This channel is M for mature audiences only, so you know what to do. I use strong language, and I don't edit the messages that are coming through from Spirit. So sometimes these videos go long. I'm your 4-video guy. I break down these readings by tribal element. So there's air, earth, water, and fire. Hop to whichever video makes sense. Check your sun, your moon, and your rising. If you don't like to watch the energetic calibrations and some of the channeled stuff that happens while I'm shuffling, because I do attempt to record and show everything, feel free to jump ahead. Just look under any of the videos in the description box. Click show more, and you will see where you can just click to your chapter. Okay, because those are actually going to be broken down by each of the distinct tribes within that element. I'm probably going to he, she, they wrong for the most of you. It's just too difficult to nail down genders or try to identify how another person might express that gender, so please use your own best judgment and, your discernment. These are general readings, so messages can't apply to everyone when I'm reading for everybody on such a broad spectrum. So again, sun, moon, rising is going to help you actually make more of a composite picture and kind of pick and choose what makes sense in your world, knowing that stories can also flip-flop depending on who you are and where you are in your cycles. So if I do start to nail on one of your stories and you want to drop me a line, feel free to let me know. I love hearing about stuff like that. And if you want to pick it up and just like drill a little bit more into that story, hit me up. Artoflove.me. I'm doing personals. It's easy to get into my schedule. All the info is there. So there's that. And prayer requests, this has been a hectic time for a lot of people. There's a lot going on in the world and in people's personal lives, and sometimes when planets are in retrograde like Mercury is right now, it can be a good time to sort of introspect. And it seems like sometimes it's like subconsciously we're just like being hammered on for things that have a way of making us want to either reconcile differences or have opportunities present themselves to do those things, and it can be confusing. So if you're someone that just wants some prayer assistance, hit me up. It's prayer@fatheroftribes.com, and we jump on those right away. So there's that. And if you're just looking for a personal though, hit me up on the website. Be happy to help you. We're gonna do these the same way we've been doing them. I break them down using 5 different decks. First, we're going to be using Carolyn Mace's archetype cards for the overall archetypal energy of the month. Looking at the physical material realm, we'll be using the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. Mental sector, John Holland's Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. Personal / sometimes, not always romantic, Doreen Virtue's Romance Angels Oracle deck. And I like to seal them all up with a little practical advice and a prayer from Archangel Michael, led by me. That's what I got. I hope you like it. If you do, thumbs up, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And, yeah, I'll catch you on the inside of your reading. Good, we're recording this time. What's up, water signs? Cracking up over here. You guys are freaking adorable, by the way. So something funny just happened. I thought I was recording, and I was like shuffling and stuff, and the camera wasn't even on. So that's like the second time that's happened. So well played, Mercury. I was hearing something while I was getting everything prepared and thought that I was recording for you guys, and I kept hearing like this little piano solo, and seeing somebody breaking it down really old school, like Charlie Brown moves, like really good shit. Like, you know, when Snoopy gets really excited and he starts doing his little hustle. And I just like kept seeing somebody like doing this little dance motion here to like a piano solo, really cute song, and I had to play it for you. So I guess I'm glad it wasn't recording because I couldn't place the song until I had to come back and do all this. So I'm gonna play a little piece for you.
You speak. Remember those times I was hoping for something and shaking my head from all I had done, but you never left me. Ooh, love, I'm falling in love, and it's better this time than ever before. Ooh, love, I'm falling in love, and it's better this time than I've ever known. Ooh, love, I'm falling in love, and it's better this time than ever before.
Alright, so I could just dance to that for your whole session. We're not gonna do that. But that song, I was just, there's a really cool little piano solo where I was just seeing somebody just dancing really cute, and it's that hook, you know, I've fallen in love. So if that is your song and if that is your happy dance, way to go. That is freaking awesome, and it's just really adorable. So way to go, you. And for anybody else who doesn't know that song, you might want to take a look at it or listen to it if you liked it. It might be something that you find relatable for the next couple weeks. It's called I Would Do Anything for You, and it's by Foster the People. So yeah, we'll go ahead and finish shuffling now that we're all here. I don't really have anything else, just that little funny antics thing. And if you're new to my channel, you don't have to watch all this if you don't like this kind of stuff. Sometimes it's a little sporadic, and sometimes cards will pop out and I'll have something to say and do energy calibrations and everything. But if you just want to jump to your sign, just go under the video in the description box, click show more, and the chapters are all linked, so you can just jump ahead. But I actually shuffle as long as the tech's working on camera, and then I lay all the cards down for all three signs, and then I keep them backs up until I'm ready to read them, and I don't pick up unless I have something to say. So gonna do the shuffle now. Okay, so this is kind of weird. The same thing happened with the Earth Tribes yesterday when I was cutting their video while I was shuffling the Carolyn Mace archetype cards. Like 4 archetypes hit the ground, and they were all backs up, and so I just like mixed them and picked one. And there's 3 here, and the way they've fallen, I kind of feel like they might actually be the archetype cards for your readings, is what I'm hearing. And so I hope you guys don't hate me for this, but I'm going to actually put them where I think they go. They're all backs up right now, and so I'm just not looking. Just going to put them down because I feel like that's what I'm being told to do. And we'll wait till you get to your sign for me to flip those. Sorry. Okay, putting this back down. You know what? This card just flew out. I was shuffling the Archangel Michael deck. It's the last deck, and this card flew out. It says have confidence. And you're gonna know if that hits you in a certain place, like what it's intended to mean. The same card actually flew out for Earth signs. So, yeah, yesterday when I was recording the Earth Tribe video, this one, I believe, also just flew out. I think it's the same card. So, yeah, I was just told we should just stop and pray right now. So, I'm gonna pray for y'all. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Water signs. Dear Archangel Michael, please lend me your courage and fortitude. Help me realize that I'm one with all that is divine, wisdom, strength, love, creativity, abundance, and health. Allow me to feel confident, peaceful about myself in all ways. Amen. Alright, I'm going to finish shuffling these. They're all backs up. I can't remember if I said it or not, but we're going to go Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So just going to finish shuffling this deck again and lay them down, and then we'll get started. How's it going, Pisces? It's the middle of September. I'm back with your reading, so we're going to go ahead and flip your cards and see what it looks like. The second half of the month. Right. Alright, Pisces. Kind of interesting. The archetype cards that I pull for the sort of overall sway or challenge type energy of the month, I use the Carolyn Mace archetype deck, and it's a deck that doesn't have reversals or reversal meanings in it, and actually the way I shuffle them, they don't reverse, and so when one actually reverses, I think it's, definitely something to pay attention to. It becomes noteworthy for me. And using that deck, Spirit has given us the Liberator card, Pisces, and it did show up upside down. And that could be for different reasons. I'm just hearing that there are some delays right now for some of y'all, and I'll tell you, I mean, there's a lot of relationship stuff that's coming up. This kind of just like taking a quick look at it feels a lot like a relationship reading for some of y'all, and so I'm just paying attention to that right away, and that might be partially, if there are some delays about things coming together. I'm hearing for some of you all, it's because things can be sluggish communication-wise with Mercury retrograde, and also like soulmate type energies, and I'm hearing for some of y'all this is like really serious romance right now that's like going on, and you know, I'm hearing karmic relationship in some cases, and also like runner chaser. So it's interesting, Liberator came up in reverse like that. I'm just going to read to you what the card says here, Pisces. Straight off the card, light attributes, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. And the shadow attributes state, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. And so since it showed up upside down, I'm hearing that that's kind of like maybe what's being brought to some of y'all's attention, and in some cases like right in your face. In some cases because somebody's being like that, and in other cases, you know, somebody might be checking you about that, Pisces. So, you know, just keep it in mind. And before I start jumping around too much, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into that book, because I think it might be helpful right now to see what the Carolyn Mace Archetype deck book says on the Liberator. Okay, Pisces, I found it. We've got 4 bullet points and a tip. First bullet point says, helps to liberate us from the self-inflicted tyranny of negative thought patterns and beliefs, spiritual sluggishness, poor nutrition, destructive relationships, or addictive behavior. And the second one says, invaluable ally in freeing us from old entrenched beliefs and attitudes. The third one says, you don't have to be a charismatic leader to have this archetype. And then the last one says, Shadow Liberator manifests in corporate, political, religious, and spiritual leaders who impose their own tyranny over others. And then they've given us a tip to keep in mind too. Ask whether you have a lifelong pattern of helping to free others from injustices, adverse economic or social conditions, or simply from their own misconceptions. Really important stuff to keep in mind, I think, Pisces, especially if this has something to do with how you are allowing yourself to move forward in life. And so I'm hearing for some of y'all that it's been like a really hung up situation, because this person that you've been carrying a torch for is just like, I hear wet blanket. And they're showing me like really, I'm hearing sedated fire sign. I don't know if that means anything to somebody there, but I hear sedated fire sign. And so, you know, maybe it's just like a chemistry issue that isn't kind of working out the way somebody wants, or somebody that's dealing with some chemical issues and it's like obstructing their ability to feel free, okay, is what I'm hearing. So just something to keep in mind there. I'm going to just jump to your Archangel Michael card, because it's got a good tip on it. And so I think that, you know, just speaking to like that relationship, the one where they're saying that, you know, somebody's been like holding the torch, and that it's just like the wet blanket one, it might be a chemistry thing. And they're saying it really just might like be about like not mutual attraction, you know. And so I think this is really good. Just there, you know, spend more time outdoors. Not that that's like, you know, probably what anybody wants to hear if you're like not feeling like your sexual attention is being returned the way you want it to. But one thing that I can tell you about spending time in nature and near trees is that it can help to give you other nourishment that will also, and maybe not in the fun ways that you're wanting if this is like an unrequited sort of situation, but it's one way that you can put more of a supportive energy into your lower chakra areas if they are like really depleted just because you need some contact. And so I really feel like spending more time outdoors. You know, I'm not trying to like dumb it down for anybody. And you know, if you want to get laid and you're not getting laid, you know, I know that can be frustrating, and you know that's not probably what you want to hear. Spend more time outdoors. And so, you know, I'm not trying to be the guy that pisses you off if that's your situation. This might not be your situation at all, because some of you guys are really like having a great time too. I have to read both sides of this since that card came upside down. And I there's a lot of people that could be watching this and that also might not even find this video for like months, that might come back in like 6 months and be like, oh, I wonder what he said back in September when this was going on in my life, and being like, oh, holy shit, you know, that was my message and I'm getting it. So since it's upside down, okay, and it came up that way, I also have to mention too, because my guides are just reminding me, those archetype cards, when I was shuffling, they flew out and they came and they landed a certain way, and as far as I had noticed, they were all pointing in the same direction, which would be pointed up. And so I didn't see or notice that this particular one was reversed because of how they landed in. I felt like they told me exactly where to put them, and so I sort of feel like that card really needed to be exactly the way it's oriented right now. And so when things happen like that, sometimes I just feel like that might be a really important message for somebody. So if you're hurting because your true love is maybe not being free with you in some kind of way, they're saying that sometimes the only thing you can do is find other ways to keep yourself full. Because especially if this is a karmic tie or like some kind of soulmate connection, I'm hearing twin flame, you know, runner chaser is what I was hearing. You can actually make somebody like completely run the opposite direction, even harder core, if you are needing too much from them, because whether or not you realize that they can feel that on their energy, and it can be really difficult for some people that perhaps aren't as free with their emotions, or as you know, a lot of water signs might be. And you know, a lot of you Pisces are just so freaking psychic too, that it's like when your attention is focused on something or someone, it's like palpable. They can feel that. And especially if it's something super, super charged, where, you know, you're just holding that flame and you're just like ready to, go to the ends of the earth, you know, and just prove your love for somebody. And if it's not coming back, that sucks, and I know how that feels. And you don't want to hear this, but, you know, there's some wisdom in here that you do need to hear. And actually going outdoors and getting like vitamin D, getting nourishment from the sun, directly from the sun into your body, it's just very supportive. Grounding yourself in the earth, if you can put your feet in the dirt, it's like there's minerals, there's nutrients that comes up into your skin when you make contact that actually does work. It helps, and it might not be the substitute you want. And thank you, ego, for always showing us where we are in our personal development, you know? And it shows us our needs. And sometimes where we learn how to self-soothe in other ways, it can take some of the emphasis, that pressure off of that psychic space that you're sharing with that deep connection person. And it might be a little easier to get them to, you know, kind of stand upright, because I'm feeling like something's a little blocked. Because look, you're both showing up here. If this is you, if this is the relationship, physical material where I'm using Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, we've got the Two of Wands showing up also reversed. They're saying you might be dealing with a fire sign. I'm hearing sedated fire sign again. They said she might be drinking. I just heard low libido, but that it's like more about, it's an attraction thing. for somebody. That might be like one or two specific people. That's not everybody. For whoever else, it might just be taking their time too, though, because sometimes, you know, and I've dealt with fire signs too. If it's somebody that's got a lot of fire in their chart, sometimes they just are not really comfortable with, it's just how they're hardwired, you know, they're not like really comfortable like with their feelings and stuff. And so if something like is in their space, and especially if they're really psychic, you know, and sensitive, they can just check out in different ways sometimes. And so, you know, they're saying it might just be like a matter of time. But I was hearing for somebody it might be like February, whatever February means to you. Or something happened in February. But, yeah, if that's not your relationship situation, this just might be the way something is going on in your world, too. This could even have an implication on, you know, career. It could have an implication on, you know, any relationship. It doesn't have to be like a romantic partnership. And just because it's wands doesn't mean that it's a fire sign person or that you have fire necessarily in your chart. But if you did, it might be in sun, moon, or rising in either yourself or in the other person, you know, that you're dealing with. But I'm hearing that the plans are really good for some of you, and that part of the reason why some of you all are feeling like the liberator, you know, in reverse here, you know, and more like the shadow side, isn't necessarily somebody like, you know, being tyrannical or, you know, just like not respecting your boundaries, but more because of a distance. And I mean, that could be emotional distance for some of y'all, just like lack of emotional intimacy. But I'm not hearing that for this other group that I'm talking to. It's more about proximal distances, and it's like I'm hearing the words 2 worlds apart. And so I'm just noticing this person, they, she, he, whomever that person is to you, that's depicted here in the image, they're holding the world, and like, you know, they're like on one side, and it's like there's no contact with the other side, and it's upside down. And I'm just hearing that, you know, part of the distance, it's just literally like a proximity issue, and that's the only reason. And they're saying spend time outdoors. I'm also hearing that somebody does want to go, but that they're afraid of flying. Oh, I was reading for you earlier this month too. If this is the same person, you came up earlier in the month too, and I was seeing that somebody's trying to get their courage up about taking that journey. And I can look. If you're going to know if this is your message, what I'm saying right here, because this also might be very specific for one or small group of people. And, you know, if you're the afraid of flying person and you're just like, I heard, is it worth it? You know, and there's like a body image thing that I'm hearing too, and that, all right, if this is your bullshit and I'm calling you on it, I'm going to try to do it as nicely as possible. Please don't be upset at me, okay? But they're just saying that it might be really convenient right now for you to be saying that you're afraid of flying because maybe you were before, you know, and it's a legitimate concern. A lot of people don't want to get up, you know, in the air. They don't feel comfortable, okay? So the thing is that I'm hearing that this has less to do with that, actually, that's kind of like the convenient thing. That for somebody, it's really just like, I'm hearing just like body consciousness issues. And just like feeling like, you know, is it going to be worth it? And that like the spend more time outdoors card is that you've been like trying to get in shape, you know, and you have been outside like freaking sweating, and they're actually showing me you doing the little Snoopy Charlie Brown dance that I was seeing at the beginning. If you missed it, there was a song for you, Being in Love. And they said that, you know, you're doing a great job and you're beautiful, and that, you know, sometimes, and you're going to know if this one's for you or not, it's not about that you're not beautiful, it's just like a lack of chemistry. And so, you know, if it's like a unrequited thing and it's that wet blanket thing that I was hearing, they're just saying, you know, it's just like, it's just a lack of chemistry, and it's not because you're not attractive. It's not that you're not attractive. And that's the thing, not to, don't get that in your head, Pisces, because not being attracted to is different than saying you are not attractive. Okay, and so also be careful, some of you, with how someone's getting in your head because they know that this is how you feel. And it's really easy to control people with that. And I'm hearing that she might have you by the balls, whoever that's for. And I don't mean any weird thing with like gender references, and I'm not trying to superimpose how you express your gender, but that's literally how I'm seeing it. And so for the one that, going back on this one here too, if it's about like the fear flying thing, and it's really like body consciousness, and you've been busting your ass and making yourself feel beautiful, and like capturing your own true love within yourself and how you treat yourself, God bless you. And you know what? They're saying that this is definitely a good match, and that you are not insane thinking that that could happen for you, because it's here. And so I'm hearing that if you're the one that's got fire in your own chart, that you're kind of like putting yourself out. And it's like you're putting yourself out before you even get started. You're like afraid. Failure to launch. But they're saying that, you know, it is true love. So, you know, if you're trying to like get your mind around whether or not you can get over this fear of flying to see this person, it's really going to be more about you trusting the love in your heart, and trusting and loving the beautiful skin that you are actually in. And, you know, don't discount the things that you have been getting right. So especially if you feel proud about something that you've been doing to help you feel more improved in your own body, in your own flesh, in your own earth vehicle, if you will, you know, that's good. And the more that you can get in touch with that, if this is the true love situation, not the unrequited one, then, you know, that's where they're going to meet you. Because the reason why you've called in somebody that's making you so freaking nervous like this is because of how you've been treating yourself. You've called in a whole new level, a whole new category. And especially if this is somebody on the other side of the world, and it's like you're having that like, oh my God, you know, why do you have to be on the other side of the planet? Well, you know what? You had to be looking hard enough within yourself to come to the point of truth where you were ready to take care of yourself in the way that you are. And that was a lot of hurdles that you've already jumped through. And I'm being told that, you know, some of you know that. And that, you know, the reason why this is upside down might not even be like a body consciousness thing, but some of you guys are really freaked out about making too bold of a move while Mercury's in retrograde. And I was getting that with some of the earth signs too, and I didn't mean to laugh at you. I just think it's really freaking cute and adorable, and I think it's awesome that people that I'm reading for are thinking like that, because it just means that you woke up. Wouldn't it be great if other people in the world were also responding to life that way? And I'm not saying to be phobic, because I don't think you have a reason to be phobic here, Pisces. I'm saying to self-analyze. That's what you're doing. So let yourself off the hook if you're self-analyzing. Just make sure you're being freaking fair to yourself too. And just because she might have said, or he might have said, or they might have said to you, I'm not attracted to you, please don't get it twisted. And you know what? I'm hearing, especially if it was a fire sign, they might have had a really shitty way of saying it to you, because, alright, they're not always eloquent speakers sometimes. You know, they can just like say things in short, harsh words, and then it's like, boo, out. They're out. And that might be heightened sometimes during, you know, retrogrades, when planet communication's coming backwards, and, you know, communication suffer anyway, even with people that talk real good. So, if that's the case, you know, don't hear it wrong. And even if they did say it's shitty, well, you know what? Then maybe this Liberator is about you getting out of some stupid bullshit that was, like, not cool. You know, for some of y'all, you know, maybe you thought it was the real thing. Spiritual union. I'm hearing karmic relationship, too. You know, and sometimes these things come and it's like fast and furious true love, and you meant it, and maybe they did too, and it was like hit and miss, and like now it's like, what was I in? So, you know, this can play out so many different ways depending on which Pisces you are. And so, you're going to know if the story is tugging on you anyway. But these can play out different ways, and that's why I also kind of try to give you the meanings of the cards too, and read the books, because just because I'm picking up on a storyline, I don't expect that, you know, that's going to register directly for you. So, you know, let's get back here. Two of Wands, Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, physical material realm. Normally, I mean, this is like creative new beginnings, passionate starts, about to happen, picking a direction, not having necessarily started yet, but like pretty much ready to go. Like this person has decided on a path, right? They've grabbed that wand and they're like, this is where I'm going, got the world in my hands, know what I'm doing. This way it's like, I don't know if I believe in these plans anymore, for some people. For other people, it's like waiting for something to happen that there's a lot of excitement there and it just doesn't go anywhere. It's like I keep seeing like this cup going like, pew, like covering the fire. You're gonna know if that's for you. But on the mind, spiritual union. I love this card, actually. This is my soulmate card. And if the Liberator was an upside down, and the Two of Wands was an upside down, and I just saw true love here and spend more time outdoors, I'd be like, wow, you guys are having a great time, and, you know, it's love, and it looks really good, or, you know, the creative venture is going great, and make sure you're getting enough, you know, fun and relaxation and mixing it up a little bit too, or go on some fun dates outdoors. But I'm seeing a lot of important energy like blocked or stagnating, and so if you're just like not doing things out of a sense of, you know, like phobia with Mercury retrograde, just make sure that you're not making it worse for yourself, because, you know, we can like make things happen just by putting our attention on it. And so, you know, I just feel like your guides are saying that, you know, for some of you, you're gonna know if you're like just kind of having like a cow because, you know, it's Mercury retrograde. But, you know, it doesn't have to be all that serious. A lot of times this is like the time where that true love actually does show up and comes back, and especially if it's like a soulmate or something. I mean, sometimes this is like when they come back. It's just the way it works. It's like a big magnet that just pulls all your exes back, and, you know, sometimes that chance that maybe you didn't think you were gonna get. And I'm hearing for some of you, it's like right now is just making a decision, and you know that you just need to make the decision. And for some of you, it's just picking that path, you know, and it might be a partner too. You know, maybe you have two choices, and it's just like, I'm hearing for some of y'all, you kind of like try to make a choice because you sort of turned your back on something that you thought wasn't going to happen. And for some of you, it's because there was like too much distance, whether it was like emotional or like proximity, like geographic distance. But that now it's like they're back in the orbit, and I'm hearing this never went away there. It was just like inaccessible, you know, for whatever reason, and like now it's like back, and you're like, holy shit, what do I do? I'm in this other thing. And the guides are saying you gotta meditate. So if that's you, take your time. Not a bad idea, taking your time, making your decision, you know. It is Mercury retrograde, and, you know, there are times that this can be the false start time, so, you know, all of that's true. But I'm seeing love here. So Pisces, whatever it is, and especially if it's just something that's making you hurt, because I'm just being pulled back to the people that are hurting. They're saying that this has to do with somebody's purity and like being in touch with their purity, and I just heard hands off. Wow. I'm not getting a whole lot else on that, so, you know, whoever's guide it was just said hands off, and so you don't know if it was for you, and maybe that was also just saying they don't want to, you know, too much more going in a general reading here for so many people, so. I'm going to go ahead and bust open the book on the Spiritual Union card, and we'll see what it says here. John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle Deck book, 2 of Cups, and 2 Spiritual Union in this deck, but if you were in like your standard decks, that's going to be your 2 of Cups. And since it's a cup, you know, it's something of an emotional nature, and it could also just be dealing with water signs if that's not you. You know, obviously that could be you in love. Here, Pisces, you know, a lot of you, I think it is, actually, and that's really beautiful if that's the case. But it could also be, you know, people that you're dealing with. Maybe you're dealing with some water signs, you know, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio people. But it could also just be like how you want things to feel and how you want things to go. I'm hearing want, a lot of want. And for some of you, it's just because you met that person that you feel like you just kind of meet at the mind here. And if you're the one that, again, body image stuff, they're just saying that that other person is just like already thinks you're amazing and beautiful. Actually, they're saying that that person's going to make you forget how the other one turned their back on you. And that some of you do need to take that trip. Because it's actually going to prove to you, you know, like your beauty that you've been questioning, I'm hearing, for some of you. And I normally wouldn't make a recommendation like, oh, here, let somebody else go validate you. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that somebody's guides are telling me that the one that turned their back, that you've been holding that torch for, the wet blanket one, the reason why you need to spend more time outdoors and maybe why you've been working so hard on your looks and stuff, you're kind of going to like forget about it, because I'm hearing damaged, and that like the one you need to go see, that you're like dragging your heels about packing your bag to go to, or letting them come. They're going to make you forget. And it's not like the reason to do it, but it's just because that is where you go with them. It is that. It's like to become one, right? And so it's like when you're doing that, I mean, you know, you pick that path, and when I'm looking at it, this side where the hand has picked and chosen is like on the side of the couple that's like sharing their intimate union and energy. And I'm seeing that the one that ran off with the light that you were holding, the one that turned their back to you, is going the other direction, and that it's like time for you to just take the trip and let yourself be amazed with the love that you are. Because for some of y'all, they're saying it's real, and that this is like the coup, you know, it's like the one you want. So if you're gonna know if it's you, Pisces, I'm just gonna read the book to you. Here we go. 2, Spiritual Union, aka 2 of Cups. This card deals with relationships involving an emotional bond. It could be between new lovers, kindred souls, family members, friends, business associates, or partners. It could even relate to a project or a specific situation. This would be the perfect time to realize that all relationships are really about you. Notice when you interact with different people in your life, Are they giving you energy or taking it away? Is there an even exchange? There should be an equal balance between giving and receiving energy. Relationships are mirror images of your own life. They reflect how you feel and treat yourself, and how you react and respond to various situations and individuals around you. Each and every union is an opportunity for soul growth. And so, yeah, for those that it's like a karmic tie, or like, you know, something that didn't get off the ground, I just keep hearing that it's like, and forgive me if you don't like how I say this, but they're saying it would be a mistake to like just spend too much time focused on that right now, dwelling, because all the energy around you just the second half of this month is like really good for starting new things, and that you just don't want to be in your own way on that. So if something didn't work out, you know, I'm not saying don't grieve about it and don't like have your emotions and everything. Please process it. Do it expediently. Try outdoors. Probably will work really well for you. And try to just get your like stuff processed that way, you know, in a good way where you can like get it out of your system, because there's some good shit. And you don't want to miss it. So, you know, if you just needed to hear from somebody that it's worth it to like put a little skip in your get along and keep going, and not feeling like the person who needs to like block good plans that they want to have and take steps forward towards, you know, let me be the guide, just reminding you that the cards say it's good. So, you know, treat yourself well, and remember that true love starts within, Pisces. So I'm going to jump into that book. We're going to see what it says for you. All right, Pisces. I gotta hold this picture up for you too, because this is something y'all really want to see this, because if you're wondering what's on the other side of that trip, it might look like this. Oh yeah, see what that says? This is the romance of a lifetime. I don't know about you, but I think that looks pretty good. They were just saying too that this person like really has like a very youthful thing to them, and just has a way of making you feel like just kind of like you were, you know, like that first time you fell in love, you know, where it was like really sweet, and it's not like all convoluted with misspoken words, I guess. I'm here, you know, and this isn't going to be for all of you, but, you know, you're going to know if this is the one for you or not. That, you know, if you have that person that just, like, really made you forget, like, all those bad times, you know, I'm hearing some of y'all, that's what's waiting for you. So ground yourself. And you know what? Don't get in your own damn way if it's just like you getting in your own damn way. Because if this is what you got, God bless you, Pisces. You deserve it. Get it. We'll read what true love says. Okay. You pulled this card because true and lasting love is here for you. If your question was about a specific person, then this card serves as validation of the relationship's divine nature. This individual has genuine love for you, and you both can overcome the issues that arise. This is especially the case if you can express your feelings through attributes such as kindness, compassion, and courtesy toward each other. For instance, having honest conversations would be an expression of your true love, even if it involves discussing uncomfortable topics. If you're currently seeking a relationship, this card offers you assurance that true love is on its way. Keep the faith that a wonderful relationship is destined to come to you, and don't compromise with an unsuitable partner. It's essential that you treat yourself well by taking excellent care of yourself, for the foundation of a true love relationship is two people who cherish who they are. And I almost just had to stop there about Don't compromise with an unsuitable partner. And that's what I'm here. That's what I was hearing earlier about why this is like this for some of y'all. It's because like you gave up on. I don't mean to sound so disappointed, but you gave up on something. You know, you gave up on a relationship or like a dream. And kind of like settled for something that was like, I'm hearing it seemed accessible, it seemed good at the time, there might have been some chemistry. It might have been one-sided in some cases, but it was like, you know, there was a good connection. It's just not the connection that you really crave. And that I'm just hearing you might get another chance at the one that really hits the spot. And so, you know, if that's the case, and that's your true love, and, you know, this is like you kind of having a no shit, like, oh my god, what do I do? You know, I'm in this other thing. They say you know what you need to do to set yourself free here, Pisces, and, you know, you're definitely someone that is going to know if something feels right or not, okay, because you definitely are in touch with, like, what you're feeling, you know, so just keep in mind the light attributes, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs. So if something isn't working, and you got something good that wants to work with you and that is coming for you or that is there, you know, just make sure that you're doing what's best for you, because that doesn't happen all the time there. So take your time making the decision. If you need to, go outdoors, fill yourself up, Pisces. I'm going to end this on that practical tip from Archangel Michael with this prayer for you. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you for motivating me to spend more time outdoors, for helping me to relax and enjoy connecting with nature. Amen. Alright, Pisces, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked it. If you did, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Hit me up at fatheroftribes.com if you have a prayer request for me. And then if you just want a personal, or if any of these stories sounded like yours and you just want to delve into them a little deeper, hit me up at www.artoflove.me, and I'd love to do your personal. Gonna hit pause real quick. Gonna move my chi for a minute, and then I'll be back, and we'll hit up Scorpio, and then we'll wrap it up on Cancer. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. I'm just gonna clear off this board here, light a little bit of sage, and then we're gonna start with Scorpio. How's it going, Scorpio? It's the second half of September. You can flip your cards. All right. You know, I'm hearing they're telling me about this movie again. I'm trying to remember who I got it for last reading. It was, I don't remember what signs, but they're telling me some of y'all might want to see a movie called Beginners. It's an independent film. And I'm not going to say too much about it. They just said it might be really helpful for some of y'all. And I'm going to go ahead and just start with your Archangel card. There's just a lot jumping up at me right now. Sorry, I'm hemming and hawing. but sometimes I don't know where to start when a lot jumps up, and they're saying here. So we're going to jump to the end, because Aries, this is what's going on. New beginnings and a fresh start. I'm hearing it came at a heavy price, and that you're really aware of it, but that it's like time to take a step forward, even if you don't feel like a pro. So your overall archetypal energy for the month, using Carolyn Mace's archetype cards, and actually it's the second half of the month, excuse me, because we're talking about the second half of September right now. You got the dilettante card, and the light attributes state, delights in the arts without having to be a professional. Alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. And the shadow attributes state, pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. I'm hearing for a lot of you, though, that's not the case. Because you're actually showing up like this guy. If this is you, might be, because it's what's showing up on your mind here, Aries. 1, awareness. John Holland's Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, aka the Magician. And this is what's showing up in the physical material realm. And they're saying some of y'all really, you know, if this is how you're showing up, might be how you're showing up. Yeah, some of y'all might be dealing with like a pretty heartbreaking situation. I heard misfired anxieties. Misfired anxieties. I don't know if that means anything to any of y'all, but you might also be dealing with a sword style energy individual, or perhaps a situation that's feeling like this, but it's really possible that you either have some like air tribe element in your chart, or that you're dealing with somebody that might be one of the air tribes, like, you know, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius person, or somebody that's got like a sun, moon, rising, or just kind of acts like that. But they're saying that, you know, if this is like something that's been going on, which it could be, and I'm not gonna lie about it, if it's showing up in your right now in your physical, you know, if that's you, they're saying that it's just like a reset time, though, you know. And so, you know, new beginnings, fresh start. You learned a lot, even if you feel like a freaking beginner. You know, relationships, you know, how do you get good at them? Well, just learning, right? From the previous and the stuff that you experience within yourself. And so I'm hearing in this situation too, for for somebody that they didn't realize that they were dealing with somebody that was just like, you know, attached is the thing, and that, you know, that's kind of what happened here. And so, and actually they're saying some of you did know that there was an attachment, and you know, there's no judgment on that. It's just that, you know, some of y'all didn't get picked. And in some cases, you didn't do the picking, right? You didn't pick the person, because the stories can interchange here. But I'm hearing for somebody, though, that, you know, it's just more about like them realizing that somebody wasn't being honest about where they were in the relationship. You know, whether or not there was actually a third party there. But since there's a 3 there, you know, it could be that was the case. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the archetype deck book, and we'll see what the dilettante card says here. Scorpio. Alright, Scorpio. Dilettante. They give us another word to keep in mind. It's like a keyword. Immature. And then we have 5 bullet points and a tip to keep in mind. First bullet point. A lover of the fine arts who never rises above the level of an amateur. The second one says, by extension, a jack of all trades, or a Jill of all trades, or an other of all trades, and master of none. The third one says, amateur applies to the realm of sports or useful arts such as cooking and gardening. The fourth one says, both can alert you to the danger of becoming merely superficial in your pursuits or losing the love that drew you to your avocation in the first place. And the last one says, shadow dilettante manifests as a pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess, taking your dabbling too seriously. And then the tip is, look for a pattern of delighting in the arts or other areas of endeavor without going very deep. And I'm hearing that's not really the case for a lot of y'all. I feel like, that might be just negative self-talk is what I'm hearing for some of y'all. And that you're kind of like beating yourself up. I think some of it had to do with a relationship or just like some plans that fell through. But, it's kind of got you feeling like, I heard the word mopey. And that it isn't that you're like being pretentious about what you know, that you actually know what you know. And for a lot of y'all, that's you right there. And that you're just feeling like this because, you're just feeling emotional. That might just be you just being, emotional and kind of beating yourself up. And sometimes people do that. And I know a lot of Scorpios kind of do that too. It's like you can kind of be your own worst critic, especially if something didn't go the way you wanted it to, and it was like, a love situation. And so, or even, a job or something that just didn't work out the way you want, because, we can't ignore the obvious. There's somebody's heart. It looks very sad and lonely. And it's been stabbed like which ways? Like, it's pincushion right there, And they're saying, you know what happened. You learned a lot. And for some of you, this might have already, like, happened. This could be, like, something... I'm hearing some of you guys are actually, like, just coming to the point after, like, a 3-year cycle is what I'm hearing, where it's, like, finally feeling like, okay... now I'm ready to restart. And that's what this dilettante is. It's kind of like, all right, I'm starting from the beginning. I'm a rookie. I'm a beginner. And, this is all what's going on. It's like you're aware of this and it's like time for a fresh start. And you're turning over a new leaf. And for some of you, it's just like you're kind of going through those last emotions and that's what's coming up. And let me just tell you, if that's happening right now, totally natural. And don't feel like... because I heard somebody was saying that you're a drama queen. And that might be a nasty air sign person, is what I'm hearing. And that person might be the one that likes to size things up and says that they know so much shit and they really don't know a damn thing about you. And they're sometimes just avoidant. It might have had you feeling like, I don't know, I was hearing high horse, like, like they're like on a high horse or something, but they're really not. And that, you're kind of like dealing with some of the stuff that had just come up. And you know what? Mercury retrograde's a great time to deal with that. Especially like if you've got like negative feelings and stuff coming up or like anything that you've been sort of processing. A lot of times it just comes up when Mercury's in retrograde too, because it's like the situation, the energies lend themselves to us hypothesizing over missed opportunities and what went wrong and like, should I like flee and do this other thing that I didn't do back then? And sometimes it can be erratic. And... I don't know how it's playing out specifically for you, because this is going to be different for everybody, right? But for some of y'all, I'm being told that this, showing up here in your physical material realm, isn't necessarily saying that you're, like, having a recent heartbreak. This is what it felt like for 3 freaking years for some of y'all. Maybe 3 months, I don't know. But they're showing me a 3-year person, and then finally being like, all right, it's come full circle now. And for some of y'all, you're actually making a fresh start with somebody from the past. They're saying it's safe now. The situation may have changed. You're going to know if that's the case, and if it's somebody worth, opening your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all, or if it's just like a new direction in your life. It doesn't have to have a romantic implication just because it showed up in the sometimes romantic sector. Let's call it the personal sector. Sometimes that's just saying that it's like, you're in a better place than whatever that was, because, those can seem really contraindicating if you see them together. It's like, oh, broken heart, safe for you to love. Okay. Well, for some of y'all, it's just because that's just referencing you re-examining everything that you learned from that situation, finding yourself in a better place where it's okay to be a beginner, and at least be considering the next steps forward for a new beginning. And I'm hearing for some of y'all too, it might just be because it's somebody that you have on your mind a lot, and they're saying that person is like real magic, like they're magic, not some fake shit. It's like you are some of you are very divided in your mind because you had two sides of what magic can be show up, and one was just like fake bullshit and left you like that. And I'm hearing the other one, you might have done that too because of a bad judgment call, not knowing the difference at the time. But that it's like a reset point right now, and it's like now you've like figured out like who the right one was. And so in some cases this might be you breaking somebody's heart and just being like, hey, I know what I want. This person makes shit happen. Shit just happens for them because they're in their alignment. This is a really strong energy here, Scorpio. If that's you, I wouldn't be surprised for a lot of y'all, because I know a lot of you are just really super aware of yourself and just everything around you. You're super, super intuitive and empathic, and some of you all really practice this. This is like, people don't just fall out of the freaking pumpkin patch like that. This person has like learned to cultivate things in a way where, they just have a handle on it no matter what. In some situations, if that's like in its purest form, let's just say. Because that card in this deck, that's your Magician. Here in the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck book, also a major arcana here, it's the card of awareness, and here's what it says. This card is one of the key reminders that you already possess all of the tools to guide and direct you in your life. Whether it's wisdom, intuition, psychic skill, creativity, self-motivation, love, willpower, physical ability, or just pure courage, they're all part of you. Once you learn to tap into and use them, you will be amazed by the power and effect they can have. You have the ability to allow the universe to work in partnership with you. Together you can manifest change, whatever the desire may be, and bring about a positive outcome. This card represents your ability to create your own reality, to set ideas into motion and watch them grow. This card is often drawn when you're ready to switch direction, start a new project, or change careers. Now is the time to use positive thoughts, visualizations, and affirmations as you veer away from negativity. Knowledge is power and can lead you to success. By having faith, keeping your willpower strong and directed, and by tapping into the tools that you possess, as well as calling on the magic from the universe, you can accomplish anything and everything you set out to do. Traditional tarot archetype, the Magician. I'm saying it's time. Some of y'all just know you're ready. And some of y'all, it's just like, I just heard somebody say, go ahead, rip my fucking heart out. And someone's just feeling really liberated in this too. So that's awesome. And yeah, that might actually be you on the horse here, because she, he, they, that person I'm talking to on the horse there, I'm just gonna say she here. She's just like, I'm not waiting for you anymore. And she just like got up on her horse, and that horse is already taken off. Like, I don't know if you can see, but that horse is like, two front legs are like whew, up in the air. And it's like, Cupid's over here trying to like stab her with a dart. He's like, hold still. Let me get you. And she's like, I'm going, you know, new beginning, fresh start. So some of y'all, I don't think that this is like just like a horrible thing, so please don't be spooked if you're like, oh, 3 of Swords, oh no. Well, you know, it might be, and I'm sorry if it is. I'm really getting more of like a good vibe with it though. For some people, it's just like, they're just saying that it's just you revisiting the past. You know, it's like you just like, you know, Mercury's in retrograde, you're thinking about what sucked. And you're like kind of qualifying like what the new start is, and just like getting yourself ready, because it's like you already know what you want. You know, you already know what you're going to do. So you got the magic. The magic's with you, Scorpio. Don't let yourself feel like it's not yours and that you have to like externalize that, you know, with somebody else. You know, and nobody has more than you do. You have your own. And if you just haven't gotten in touch with it, it's maybe just because this is a new start and you haven't experienced yourself in this way before. So, you know, don't beat yourself up for it. Work with your solar plexus chakra, is what I'm hearing. I'm going to go ahead and bust open the book on the Romance Angels to see what they say about that. It is safe for you to love card. Because it really does say here, like, some of you guys have actually fallen in love with someone. You know, and they're just saying, open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. And so, oh, that's it. Some of you guys are just really nervous. You're just afraid to open up. That's what they're saying, because it's just been a while. Some of you, it's been like 3+ years. So, let's see what the book says here, Scorpio. It is safe for you to love. Alright. This card indicates that you're protecting your heart from hurt because of painful relationship experiences. However, the angels can only bring as much romance as you'll allow inside. If you have a shield around your heart, how is love going to get in? A closed heart repels the sensitive partner you're trying to attract. Following your inner guidance will protect you and simultaneously allow you to feel loved and loving. Trust your intuitive senses with respect to other people's trustworthiness, and open your heart to those who are kind and gentle. Ask the angels to bring caring individuals, including a romantic partner, into your life, and they'll do so, provided that you listen to and follow their guidance. So there's things some of y'all actually have been, you know, and that little Cupid up there did actually hit you with the dart, and you're actually in love, and you are just like ready to do something and to take that new direction. And so, you know, they're just saying be kind to yourself, you know, and make sure that, especially if somebody said something shitty to you, made you feel bad before, that, you know, it's okay if it's on your mind and you remember it and work through it and stuff, but just don't let it trap you there, is what I'm hearing, because it really is safe. They're saying that you're really ready, even if you don't realize it too much, but I think a lot of you all know it too, because, you know, you got a great tip here from Archangel Michael, and he's saying it's now. So we're going to go ahead and just wrap this one up on that practical advice there for new beginnings and a fresh start time being here now for you, Scorpio. I'm going to seal it up on a prayer. Alright, dear Archangel Michael, thank you for bringing new opportunities and offering support, and for helping me release and heal my past. Fill me with trust as I experience these life changes. Amen. Alright, Scorpio, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, drop me a comment. Let me know if it hit. If you want a personal reading, hit me up on my website, artoflove.me, linked below. And if you just want a prayer request, hit me up for that too. Prayer at fatheroftribes.com. I'd love to do that for you, Scorpio. So take care, God bless. Now clear things up a little bit more here. Light one more piece of sage, and then we're going to wrap things up on Cancer. What's going on, Cancerians? How you doing? I'm just going to flip your cards now, and I'm going to take a look at the second half of your September. Hope it's been treating you well so far. Wow. Alright, there's a lot of really strong energy here, Cancerians. Where to start? Where to start? Well, I'm just hearing that some of y'all are just like experiencing the gamut right now. And what I mean is it's just like they're showing me the full spectrum, and it's like watching a pendulum swing. And I was also seeing like a teeter-totter, like, you know, like being on one side and you're up and the other side down, and it's kind of like this up and down thing. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump to your last card too. Been doing that with a couple of the signs here, because this is what I'm being told is the key for the second half of the month here. Cancerians, sense of humor. And they're just making an emphatic point to me to remind you that, especially if this like pendulum swinging kind of teeter-totter action is kind of hitting you in a funny bone, like, that is kind of how it's been feeling. If that's kind of making a note for you, try to keep in mind this piece of advice, because it's going to be really helpful in navigating the next couple weeks, because it's like as soon as it starts feeling like down, they're saying it goes like whoop up. And so every time it's going down and you're just kind of like, you know, like kind of having a reaction where it's like you just want to like cover your head and like run the other way is what I'm seeing. Somebody is just like literally covering and like going. They're just saying like kind of try to laugh at it, because they said you've actually laughed at yourself a couple times in this, because then you're like, oh shit, it was like completely the opposite of what I was thinking. You know, it's me. And so just remember, Mercury's in retrograde. Shit can be a little crazy, and I'm hearing some of it's like some work drama, and it's just like I'm seeing somebody just going, bitch please, you know, and just being like like laughing it off. And I'm hearing that's a very good tact. So if that's what you're doing, you know, that might be kind of a good thing to keep doing for the next couple weeks. Overall archetypal energies in Carolyn Mace's archetype deck, we had the Child Eternal card. And it's really interesting. Like, when I just flipped the card over, like, I noticed that I actually turned it upside down. And it was kind of interesting, too. You might not have caught the beginning. I was doing the shuffle, may or may not be relevant for you, but, these archetype cards that I use, they've been throwing themselves out. They did it yesterday for Earth, when I was recording the Earth Tribe videos, so you might have some Earth Tribe element too that might be interesting, but these cards were like very talkative, and 3 came out today, 4 came out yesterday. 3 came out today, and they kind of placed themselves on the floor in front of me, but they were all backs up. And I was almost just going to pick one and show it, because sometimes I feel led to do it that way. Other times they're just like, no, read them all. And sometimes they're just like, what happened today? Pick them up exactly as they are and put them on your spirit board, boom, 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 like that. And you're going to go Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. And so I did that. And Pisces card, although this is a non-reversal deck, and they don't really have reversal meanings, sort of, in that typical fashion, but they do, sort of, because they have light and shadow, right? Pisces card was actually completely reversed, and I think it was for a really good reason. And what's interesting is the way yours was, when I flipped them, when I was starting to flip them over, it would have been upright, and I kind of like turned it upside down, and I noticed it when I pulled it, and I don't know why I pulled it that way. It was just like my hand did that, and I'm hearing some of that is also too because I'm extra sensitive to some of the water tribe elements, just because I have really strong water element in my chart too. I'm actually Cancer rising, and so you know, it might have just been Spirit working through me and saying, don't forget to draw special attention to the fact that some people are like in this teeter-totter, but it's not actually like the reversal meaning. So that's how I'm taking it right now, and you know, if I hear anything else on it, I'll say it, but that's where I was coming up with that teeter-totter feeling, or that like pendulum, that it's like, this is you, is what I'm hearing, and it's like, ooh, you're like on a swing, and it's like making you fucking nauseous sometimes. So I'm just seeing somebody going like, bitch please, and like, ha 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 ha, laughing it off, and just like handling their business. And so you're gonna know if that's for you. That might be specific for some of y'all, especially if it's like a work kind of connotation, and they're just saying, keep it in mind that like this thing, you might be dealing with somebody that's got like, I'm hearing a personality disorder actually. They're just saying that it's like, the person might not realize that they're like borderline, and it's like something that they're having to work through. And I'm hearing for some of y'all, it might actually be like your partner, and that actually for some of y'all, it might not even be that they're having like a personality disorder, that it's more just that it's like so intense that, you know, you keep feeling like just like one side of it or the other, and it's just because of how much energy is there. It's like somebody that's like lit up your world and kind of just like helped you get back to like what that feels like, you know. I'm just catching like little like childhood vibes where everything is just like recess, you know, is what I'm hearing. And you know, you're not consumed with things that weigh you down. And they're actually saying that, you know, for some of y'all, this person, and I'm picking up on what I would consider like just feminine polarity energy, and I'll just say he, she, they, but you know, because it could be anybody, and I'm not going to say who that is for you. You're going to know if this is for you and to whom this applies. But I'm just hearing that, and I'm going to say she because that's how they're showing me here, that she has like really great butterfly energy. She's like butterfly energy. There's like somebody with butterfly energy, and she's just really light, and you know, she kind of just feels like that. And you know, maybe that's why you're stressing in some kind of situations. And it might be he too, or they, or other, however, you know, that person chooses to identify is how that person chooses to identify, and that's not up to me to interpret, you know, art on a card to say who that person is, so please don't hear me wrong if that's the case. But they're just saying, you know, that some of this like really seasick stuff is just like, you know, because you can't tell if you're coming or going sometimes when you're in love, especially if it's like really like a situation where you're very like sexually attracted. And I'm being told that that's what this devil is that's showing up on some of y'all's minds, because 15 Temptation, John Holmes Psychic Tarot Oracle deck book, Temptation, aka the devil. And kind of an interesting combo, you know, eternal child and the devil. It's like, this is like so innocent, right? And I think that's why it was also showing upside down too, that it's like, you know, like vacillating between these extremes of dependency is what it says. And, you know, the devil, major arcana, major influencer of information. You know, that can be about dependencies, codependencies, severe attractions. It can be vices, and it can also be that shit that you're just like done with, and it's like, phew, bitch please, is what I was seeing. And it was just like, I'm also seeing too here, three-way situation that is like not working anymore. And so they're kind of showing me like a poly thing, actually. It's like a polyamorous relationship, or I don't know, maybe it was just like a one-time thing for some of y'all for fun, but, you know, they're saying it's not working out anymore, and I'm almost hearing that it's like somebody just won't stop calling, you know, and they're just like trying to like get back in there, and it's like, that's why this has turned. It's like, okay, it was really fun at first, it was something new, we tried it out, and we don't want it anymore. And it's like, that person's like, pick up my call, and they're like texting all the time, and you're just like, leave me alone. No more cups for you. Just physical material realm, cups energy here, obviously could be a water tribe person like you, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, if it's not you. Three of Cups, really good time, not so much anymore. I'm hearing it might have just been too much alcohol too. They're saying be careful if it's like, you know, I don't know why I'm saying this. Somebody driving your kids? This is a very specific message. Don't take this, like, wrong. If it doesn't apply, you're going to know right away if this is for you. But I was just seeing, like, a carpool thing with, like, somebody's kids in the back seat. There were several kids, though. It wasn't just, like, one person's kids. And it's like, they were saying that they might have like a situation, like somebody has sort of like, they're telling me that it's almost like you had like a vision and you've been questioning whether or not it was real, or if it was something that you should pay attention to, that this person might be drinking and like driving the kids. And I'm hearing you might not be wrong about that. I'm not getting anything like dangerous here so much, but this isn't great. And they're saying that, you know, this person might actually be battling the addiction. So I don't know. I mean, this could be so many different people here. You know, in some cases it's like somebody actually like throwing the drinks away and like literally saying no, you know, and stuff. In other cases it might be that you actually did have like a vision, because it's like your angels and your guides and the ones that protect you and your loved ones were maybe mentioning to you that, you know, be careful with that, and that, you know, it's okay to like keep your eye on that person and maybe just cancel the carpool, you know, if you have like a real concern about it. So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that in these energies I'm seeing these different sways possible, and some of these stories are present because I'm seeing an actual image of this. And so take what you will with it, but Yeah, I'm actually seeing a close call in some situation too, where somebody like literally like went up on a curb and it's like the hubcap like shot off the car, and it scared the kids. But that everybody's okay, or was okay. So I don't feel like it's something that's going to happen. It's more like something that did happen, and so I don't know, Scorpio. Just pay attention if you have any questions about the safety of your children, ever. I think that these are valid things to spend some time considering. So, definitely, do that, and just make sure too that, if you're just being kind of like obsessive, that, you know, maybe you don't have a reason to be, because some of y'all, that's actually what I'm getting, and I think that's why the sense of humor card is showing up, and they're just saying it's okay for you to kind of laugh at yourself, that the kids are actually okay, nothing happened, and, you don't have to obsess so much, and that maybe now is a good time to get in touch with that, I'm also hearing for somebody that, this is really just like a difficult time because somebody actually did pass. Wow, I literally like saw somebody like go through a freaking windshield. Yeah, for who that is, they're actually saying that this is like coming up on like an anniversary of like giving up alcohol, and that it's really because of something that happened, and that's like really why, they don't want to like go down that path anymore, and so like why temptation's like showing up on the mind, because that's the mental sector card. And so, the thing about some of these energies too, because these can just kind of come back for us to rework in our mind a lot. When some of these planets like Mercury go retrograde, which is what's happening right now through the 22nd. So, in Cancer, sometimes that'll go even like past or before like times. Just keep in mind there are like shadow periods. If you don't know what that means, feel free to look it up if you want, but it's just saying it's not all cut and dry. Nothing fits into neat little boxes, and anybody that tries to tell you that is probably full of shit. Or they just don't realize it, or they would really like for it to be that way, because it would be so much more convenient for all of us now, wouldn't it? If we could just quantify everything and it just came in a little bite-sized serving, and, we could pick and choose like that. It doesn't work like that. And so, the thing is, sometimes we don't deal with certain parts of situations that happen, especially when they're, like, major. And especially if they're traumatizing. It's like we do what we can, right? And we get through it. And sometimes there are things that were left unresolved that really become a part of the autopilot, if you will. And when, like, Mercury, planet of communication, comes backwards and kind of throws things in a different angle, communication-wise, which begins with ourselves. Communication starts with how your inner dialogue with yourself is flowing before it goes anywhere else. So, some of this stuff, especially if you have like a difficult like anniversary date sort of thing coming up, it just brings it up. This stuff stays in your somatic cells, and it can come to the surface. And if the universe is a pressure cooker that changes when big, huge bodies move, and it changes the pressure as it is applied on us, different things are going to come to the surface. And so that might be, why, if this is you just feeling unhappy, because that's what that could be sometimes too. This is like the good time that you are not having. maybe you're having some thoughts, a lot of them, because this can be obsessive too, about the shit that went wrong and like what you would do different. Maybe the stuff that you didn't ever go after, that you wanted to go after, the stuff that made you feel light and free, it's like pulling at you, you know, and it could be. And this is actually a really good time to be doing it. So, you know, if you're feeling mopey and stuff, you know, let yourself, knowing that it's normal. You're not nuts. It doesn't make you melodramatic, you know. It just makes you a human being that's feeling stuff and that had some traumas that you're working through. And they might have been really freaking serious. So, you know, congratulations to you for living through that. Because some people don't, right? So what I'm hearing here is actually that sense of humor, real key right now. Especially if you're kind of reliving some of that past stuff that just didn't make you feel good or almost took your life in some cases. And so not to dumb it down or minimize it, but they're saying that there's a real key here to help you get off that freaking teeter-totter. Because your thoughts are doing this to you, some of y'all, and it's like making you nauseous. And they're just saying, you know, like, do what you need to do. That I heard watch Friends for somebody. You know, watch something that's gonna, like, you know, help you go back to that time that felt more like this, where you might have been up there chasing that butterfly, you know, with whoever kind of had you feeling like that. And I think some of you guys might just be ready to do that and might just be taking an inventory of this, because whether or not you realize it, you might have called in a soulmate. If you haven't seen that person yet, or that thing, it's kind of like you know that you've been doing all of this, like, doing down in the karma ditch shit, because you're coming out for, like, a rebirth, you know? This eternal child, I mean, these children cards that come up in that architect type deck, there's like 4 or 5 of them, and this is the kind of card that all of us have one of these children, and who we embody. So it's like, you know, there's like 4 or 5 different archetypes, like prostitute, thief, child. Like, some of these are different ones that we all have, and it doesn't make you good or bad or other or whatever. It's just, you know, it's the part of us that is, like, you know, our vulnerable nature that we all have as, you know, humans. And they're just saying, for some of y'all, it's like difficult to laugh when you're on that teeter-totter, especially if you're swinging on a pendulum, or dealing with somebody that maybe is, like, having, like, a serious, like, kind of dependency issue, is what I'm hearing. You know, they might just be acting very childish, and might be, like, just addicted to something. I heard sex for some people, other people it's alcohol. Somebody it's just like the comfort of their own paralyzed emotions, is what they're saying. But that, you know, there's been a point of awareness in this. Sense of humor is going to be the key to get through it. And in some cases, you're actually dealing with your soulmate. And so it's somebody that you really, you know, you're like turning your back on everything else and just focusing on them. And that is sometimes what a devil is. It's like, I've actually seen those cards show up sometimes. Well, of course, that could be a Capricorn person, somebody with Capricorn, you know, heavily in their chart being that card. Sometimes the devil is a Capricorn person, you know, that might have some very strong controlling tendencies that sometimes you don't see them for what they are, because they're such a master at that it can be highly deceptive. And I'm hearing gaslighty for some people, but in other cases, you know, because in some cases this is you just like saying, done with that, wasn't a good time, you know. And because sometimes soulmate doesn't have to be pleasant, you know. This isn't all like la, like here this looks great, you know, or like she's all la, you know, like singing to the heavens. And it's not always that. Sometimes it's like, bitch please, you know. It's the karma that you realize Now we're ready to resolve it. No more of that, please. And they're saying, try to laugh, because you learned. Now is a new beginning. Time for a new beginning. So I think for a lot of you all, it's just like, I kept hearing that bitch please thing, and it's just like, you know, turning your back on the thing that doesn't work anymore. The number 6 is showing up really big here. Like, I'm just seeing like the number 6 like flashing. And, you know, they're saying that, you know, this is about, if this is not romantic or like a business soulmate or anything like that, or a good friend, this is about calling in things with your own prayers, affirmations, visualizations that are helping you bring that forward. It's really law of attraction. And so they're just saying you have a lot more power, even if you're feeling like, you know, you had some devils that were like keeping you from feeling like you could do things, and it's like been hard to like tear away, because like somebody feels like it's like holding them back. See all that like tentacly, like black viney stuff all over this person, all over that being. It's like he's like trying to like push stuff away, and he's trying to get away, and it's like they're just like coming for him. They're just like grabbing at him, and they're just like, no. But he's just kind of like, fuck it, I'm going. No more of that. Because somebody wants to get up and fly. Ready to go. Because you know something good's coming for you. So, let's see if I'm getting anything else on that. I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and just bust open this book here. The Psychic Tarot Oracle deck book on the Temptation card, because that card, if we're in like Rider-Waite-Smith, again, that's the devil. This card, kind of different. Definitely different art. Here's what it says. Through this card, addictions and self-limiting behaviors are being addressed. This is a time when you or someone in your life may be placing too much emphasis on the material, physical world and its pleasures. Even though we're all born connected to the divine source, we have a tendency to pull away from what was once natural. When we become disconnected from spirit, the source that once nourished us, it's often replaced with a different supply or substitute. In other words, the connection is then forged with food, alcohol, nicotine, codependency to someone, or even work. Hence the term workaholic. Many of us spend our lives trying to fill the void that was created when the link to the divine was broken. The Temptation card is calling you to take a hard look at your life and ask yourself, where in my life am I suffering from addictive behavior? Is there negative thinking or behavior that's causing the life force to seep out of my soul? Are the people and relationships in my life giving me energy, or are they draining it? Learn to embrace your fears and all of your doubts so that every situation in your life becomes a learning experience. Gaining the knowledge that the physical world teaches will help you transcend to a higher spiritual awareness. Traditional tarot archetype, the devil. They're actually saying too, some of y'all just need to like just get up and move. That this, like, nothing is actually holding you back. And I'm hearing that like some of y'all like just don't want to deal with that fact. Actually, it's like, and this might only just be like 1 or 2 people, I don't know, but you know, they're showing somebody literally turning away from the light in this situation and just being like content to have that hand hold them back, because it's convenient for them to think that something external is keeping them from their good time when it's actually them. And so I'm not like trying to call you out too hard, but they're just saying that that's because of some trauma, that you were traumatized, is what I'm hearing. And some of it has been going on since you were little. Somebody nurtured that and made you feel like you kind of needed a certain kind of validation, is what I'm hearing. Wow. And you grew up feeling extremely dependent, and it's like this person has agoraphobia, is what I'm hearing. Like they have a certain sort of like limitation in their mind, feeling like they don't have the material resources, or something's always like not right enough for them to like take a move. And so it's like, I hear making excuses. And so they're just saying you were listening to the wrong person. But I'm hearing that you might actually have a friend too, or are like in touch now with your, you know, higher sense of self, because they're showing me something that's like there that can help you, like, you know, move through this. And a lot of that's just going to be paying attention to that yellow color of those cups that I'm being told some of you are actually pouring out yourself. And what it is actually your healthy sense of self-esteem, that it's like you having limiting thoughts about like, well, I need this before that can happen, or I can't do this till that happens. And I don't want to dumb it down for you, darling, and I'm not trying to piss you off, but they're just saying, listen, get it together, because you have some good shit that's coming on the horizon. You can actually call in a lot more than you're realizing, especially with energy like this. Like, don't get all like, you know, offended, the devil and, you know, temptation, and oh, I saw big sixes. Okay, yes, that might scare some people, but that's not going to help you right now. You know, all these things are just like symbols that people superimpose onto really good stuff to hide energies from us that we actually need to know about, so that we can take better control over our life situations. And they're saying that you have a lot that you can do with this. And if you don't know about the number 6, look it up. This is a good number, because some of you guys, they're saying, are gonna, like, you just need to check it, because I'm hearing it's like a poverty mentality kind of thing, and that some of you are just like refusing a really good person in your life too that might be an awesome soulmate, because you're feeling kind of invalidated that you don't have enough material resources. And this is you literally saying no to a date with somebody that makes you feel, or could make you feel, or like the date would kind of like just feel awesome. And they're saying now's a good time to kind of laugh at yourself for no other reason, not to literally laugh at yourself, but to just help express that nervousness in a way that is conducive to you actually smiling at some point. And I heard watch Friends for somebody, so, you know, or like whatever your show is, that's something that's just going to get you like moving that energy, because a lot of this is just pent up because you haven't been flowing. And I'm hearing that a lot of you guys, it's just like feeling blocked, you know, and that stuff that gave you that childhood joy. And, you know, you could be your own worst enemy right now if this cup's energy is just you just kind of just being like down on yourself. And so if this is you pouring out your own healthy sense of self-esteem, the stuff that otherwise gives you wings because of some shit that happened in the past that now you're just kind of like having a hard time letting go of, just try to remember Mercury's in retrograde, and this is probably making it worse in your imagination than it actually is. And that's going to let up. And that sometimes all you got to do is weather the storm. And sometimes the things that you can do that are going to help you just inject a little bit of levity in there to kind of pull some of this oppressive feeling away, or just kind of offset it a little bit. There you go. Sense of humor. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into what the romance angels have to say about calling in your soulmate. And again, just putting it out there, sometimes soulmates can freaking suck to deal with. You know, it can be your brother, it can be your sister, it can be your mother, it can be your father, it can be your aunts and uncles, it can be people at work, it can be like a neighbor, it can be a friend, it can be an animal. You know, soulmates can come in so many different varieties, and they're not all awesome. Some of them are great. Some of them are just great to learn from and kind of suck to deal with at the time. And that's just perfectly normal. So if you're dealing with some stuff where you're like, oh God, he's nuts, he said I'm calling him my soulmate, you know, I don't want any of these people. Well, keep in mind, some of them feel like the freaking devil. Some of them just have like nasty shit to say that sometimes you just like wake up and you're like, wait a second, none of that was even true. This person was just projecting all their bullshit onto me, and I've been letting them get away with it since I was like that big. Maybe I was 3 years old when the shit went south. Depends on which Cancer you are. Let's see what the soulmate card says here. Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. You, like everyone, have soulmates. These are people with whom you share time in heaven and in other lives. You made a soul agreement to meet in this lifetime for the purpose of mutual spiritual growth. You have many such agreements with various people who are all your soulmates. They include friends, family members, coworkers, and romantic partners. And I'll say pets too. This card guides you to actively call your romantic soulmate into your life. You can do so through prayer, affirmations, and visualizations. It also means working on yourself so that you epitomize the qualities you're seeking in a partner. For instance, if you desire a significant other who's got a great sense of humor, develop this within yourself first. Like attracts like, which is part of calling in your soulmate. So that's what they're saying too. If you want somebody that's like really going to feel like that, and you've been getting some stuff that felt like the reverse, and you want this, and that's what you're trying to go forward. This sense of humor, you embodying that, even if you're in pain right now, finding things that are just going to help you put a little bit of laughter and joy back into your life. These are the things that are going to help you magnetize what you really want forward, whether it's a job, or some kind of relationship, you know. It doesn't have to be a romance, Cancer, you know. It's just what you want. And so they're just saying, don't let anybody, like, get into your head, especially yourself, darling. Thinking that, you know, you're just too bound to something and that you're being held back, because I'm hearing that's most likely a fabrication. And that's some bullshit that somebody put in your head, and it might have been some really old conditioning, and you've been holding on to it because it had such a deep grasp on you that you might not even realize it. And so if this is pinging you, let me tell you, I'm already praying for you. And if you want a personal prayer, you can hit me up too. prayer@fatheroftribes.com. I'd love to pray for you. And I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this one up on the sense of humor tip and with a prayer from Archangel Michael. So here we go, Cancer. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you for helping me see the humor in this situation so I can lovingly laugh at human nature. I'm willing to view my experience in a new light in order to attract love and healing energy. Amen. Alright, Cancer, I hope that made sense to you. Hope you liked it. If you did, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Hit me up if you want that prayer. If you liked any of the stories or if they resonated for you, you want me to dive in deeper on one of your own, feel free to hit me up on my website, www.artoflove.me, and I would love to do that for you. So if I don't hear from you, take care, God bless, and I'll see you again in a couple of weeks when I'm back for your October readings.